Hey there, it's Kathy Howes with Be Creative with Kathy, and in this video I'm going to show you how I assembled February Stamp Club card packet. So the card packet came in the mail. This is the third card that I give you already assembled. And then I'll show you how I put together this card packet. The cards look like this. Whoops, that needs to go over there. Is there another piece? Nope. And we're going to make this card first. So this card is this side of the packet. If you look here, there's two basic white card bases. If you take this one here from here up, this is all the pieces we'll need for this card. And I've done a lot of the prepping and die cutting, so you can stop the video and go do the die cutting. You don't have to watch me do all of that, because let me show you. Here's the card here, but we're going to take this piece here and we're going to use this die and, well, I can't get out of the packet, and this die. So it's going to look like this when we die cut those out. That's what we're going to do. Make sure I'm in the video. There you go with that piece. And then what's next? This piece here is the bucket handle. We're going to take that and that little black scrap here. This piece here, we're going to run this through twice, if you can see it, and we'll have a piece that looks like, oops, we're out of the video, this, and a piece that looks like this, or somewhat like that. We need those two pieces cut from that one little die. Let's move this. And then we have this piece here, which we will take this and run it through, and it turns it into these three pieces like this. I hope you can see all this crystal clear. And then this piece here, you're going to have to run through several times. It's this little die right here. Cuts out those two little leaves of the apple, and we'll need 8 of those. So they'll look like that, all 8 of them. And then the last thing is we'll take these two pieces. Now you can layer these like this and cut these little apples here 2 at a time. And you need to cut at least 8. So I've cut 4 red and 4 green. So that's what you'll need for this first card. So you can go stop the video, go die cut all your pieces, and then come right back. Okay, so let me put all the dies away now and all those pieces away, since it's already been done for you. Put that away. Put this one and this one. There we go. So now let's assemble all these little pieces here. I'm going to bring in my silicone mat. You know how I like to use him when we're gluing. But for the bucket, the first part of the bucket, I won't need it. I'm going to just take some liquid glue, a little bit of liquid glue, and glue these two. There, it's a soft suede. I'm going to glue these two pieces together. And when you lay this piece, wait, I'm going to put a little bit here at the bottom. My bottom didn't get much, neither did the top. And I don't want it to, okay. Lay these, it has that little border around there. Just like that. That glue, you can slide it into place exactly where you want it. Give it just a second. Then it's all ready. Now we're going to put the slats on our bucket. A little bit of glue here. Got that one down there. Really, on the bucket, on this back, you can kind of see on the side, it shows you where those slats should go. Okay, put that down right here. Whoops, it moved. There we go. And then last, let's put that top one on. Now for the handle, I'm going to take that little silver piece here, and I'm going to put just a little bit of glue right here on the handle, and then take the black handle here that I've cut, and I'm going to trim off all of that excess around that. I guess the handle of the handle is what I'm going to call it. I don't know what to call this part, but we want just that little black piece there, and then I'm going to just lay it right here on that glue and then slide it into place. So now it looks like that. Okay, then a little bit of glue on the back, and I'm going to just, well, in fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put a daub here on my silicone mat, and I'm going to just tap it here, and I'm going to tap it here, and then I'm actually going to even tap it a little bit more in the center, and then lay that on my bucket and slide it into place. Oh boy, and I made a mess, but I think I can clean that up later after it's dried. Okay, so there it goes. I do have a mess here. I'll get out my eraser. Maybe I can wipe most of it off. That glue a little bit goes so far that you don't need a lot. I think it might be okay just like that. There we go. So there's my bucket. And then for my apples, again, there's two ways to put the apples together, in my opinion. So I'm gonna first show you one way that I thought looked better. I'm taking the leaf here, and on the front of the leaf, just put a little bit of glue from my blob here, and I'm gonna put it behind my apple, like that. Set that down on my silicone mat, because it might have a little bit of glue on the back, and this way it won't stick to my silicone mat. Or you can take it like this, and this time I'm going to put it on the back, because there's one end of the stem that looks a little thicker than the other, but I'm going to put it like this, and then you'll have to decide which way you like the apples better. And then just glue that right there to the front, and look how cute those little apples are. So quickly, I'm going to do the rest of them. There we go. And I'm going to do the rest of them with the stem on the back. I don't know why, I think I like it better with that stem coming out of the apple rather than being in the front. So like I said, you need at least 8. I would do 4 and 4. Now, it's your card. If you don't like green apples and you only want red apples, by all means, then I'm sure you have enough cardstock in your packet that you could cut all 8 red apples. This is going to just take me just a minute here. Oops, it stuck to my finger. To get, I only have 3 more. I should have done some of my apples in advance. Whoops. Okay, and then we have this one here. And then this one. Last one. Okay, and then I'm going to just leave my apples here to kind of set, let that glue dry, and let's work on our card base. Okay, set that aside with my little bucket, put the lid on my glue. Now in your packet, you have this piece of designer series paper and 2 window sheets. Now along there's this piece of designer series paper, which I'm going to just take care of now. That is to go on the flap of your envelope. So if you take your envelope, put a little adhesive here. This is the last of the 6x6 designer series paper. The frame took up most of it, and I like this side better, so I'm going to put some flowers on there. I'm going to lay it this way so it's a little bit more, well, it's easier to see where the top of the flap is. Lay that there, and then just trim along the edge here, and it fits just perfect. Because I cut the designer series paper 3.5 by 5, which gives us just exactly enough. I can't do two things at once. Designer series paper to cover the flap. Okay, so now we have a pretty decorated envelope. We'll just put that aside. We're done. Let's bring this piece back in. And now, when I did class, well, no, I'm going to do it the same way. Here I have the brain fart. I'm going to use liquid glue. Now remember, a little bit goes a long way. And on the back, this is what I'm going to use for my front. So on the back of my frame here, I'm going to just put a little bit of liquid glue along. All we want to do is make sure this one of the window sheets, because there's two in your packet, is glued to this frame here. So I'll take my window sheet. Now this piece, this tissue, is just packaging. That's going to be trash, but I'm going to try to keep my window sheet clean. So one of them we're going to take, and it's just 1/8 of an inch smaller. It's a little bit smaller than the designer series paper. I'm going to just lay that right there. Now I don't know if you can see that or not, but I have that window sheet laid and attached to my designer series paper. So now there's my window. I guess you can see it there a little bit. It's even scratched a little bit. But now I'm going to lay that there, and then I'm going to take my bucket here, and I'm going to put some liquid glue. I'm going to leave a little bit of room at the top because I want to tuck my apples under there after I glue it on. But I'm going to take my bucket here, and I'm going to just glue it here to the bottom of that window, like this. Now this is the front of our window piece. And then while I'm at it, I'm going to just take an apple here. I think this time I'll put a green one up here, because we're going to make it look like this. There's, that helps a little bit. And then one of those little red apples. I think I want to do a green apple first. I'm going to put a green apple in the corner. And I'm going to tuck it under that basket like that. And then let's do a little red apple there too. And tuck that under the basket. Now here's where, if you cut more apples, you could put as many little apples and decorate the front just as much as you please. But for the front of my card, that's all I'm going to do right there. Okay, now we can turn it over and give that a good press. Make sure those pieces are stuck down good. In your packet, you have foam adhesive strips. Now you have 2 of the longer ones which fit here. And now my packet's different than yours because I get all the scraps and pieces. But then you have 2 pieces that are shorter that will go along the top. So let's go ahead and put these, at least one of them, along the edge. And now you want this so it's only where the paper's at. You don't want it where the wind, you want it to see through the hole. So just like that, where the paper is, and then take one of those shorter ones, go along the edge here, like that. This piece you're going to trim off, and we're going to put it right here on that bucket piece, because when you're trying to get your apples in the bucket, although this one's not working, look at they're all stuck. Let's get this one. There we go. When you're trying to get all those apples in the bucket, well, anyway, you don't want it to go through the side, so you want it to go around. This is going to block the apples from going through the side. And my apples are stuck. I need to shake that card a little bit, but I'll show you when we're done what I'm talking about. Okay, let's keep going with the thing. So then the second one here, we're going to put up this side here, like that. Now it's a little bit, no, I think it's okay. It doesn't hang over the edge, so we just go like that. And then that second shorter one we'll put right here. Now you can't have any openings here. We don't want any of our sequins to fall out. So see how there's no openings. It's one solid line all the way around. And since I have this piece here, I'm going to just set it here just for some more what the heck stability over there. Okay, now I'm going to set this piece aside for just a minute, and let's get everything else ready. So my apples might have a little bit of sticky on there, so I'm going to show you how I'm going to get all the sticky off there. I missed in my video to tell you that you might need a little bit of baby powder. I added it in the description though, so if you missed that, I'm going to use baby powder, and I'm going to use this as a Swifter cloth. I think that's what it's called, but excuse me, any soft cloth should work. But I'm going to take a little bit of baby powder. Whoa, I'm going to take a lot of baby powder, and I'm going to just shake it in there, and I'm going to kind of get it around the edges. Well, I guess that wasn't even enough. And I know you're thinking, oh my gosh, now you're going to have this mess. Hopefully, I can clean it up, but this will take care of the edges. I got baby powder in my lungs, and get rid of the stickiness or any kind of sticky that we might have on the edges of our card. Now I'm going to leave that there, and I'm going to clean this up with my soft cloth, and hopefully there's not a lot of glue in there because it'll show, but I'm going to clean that up and tap that out and turn that into a clear window again. And I know it's a little bit of work, but it's so much better, I think, when it's all said and done. Okay, hold on. I have to get a new cloth. I've done too many with that one, and it's not picking anything up anymore. Let me get a new. And when I say a Swifter cloth, I just mean one like this. And that picks up that baby powder. I'm going to get all those cloudies out of there. Okay. Close enough. Now we have, and when you put it on the white, it won't show through anymore. When you put it on the white paper, you won't have the problem of seeing all that little powder that's left. Not much powder, but that's left in there. Okay. Now let's continue on. We have this little bit of powder here. Now I'm going to set my apples. In case there's anything sticky where that glue is on there, I'm going to put my apples in that powder too, and make sure there's nothing sticky with my apples. Because when you're doing a shaker card, you don't want anything to stick together. One more. You could, on this part, you could also use, if you have the embossing buddy, you could just pat that along that powder, the glue. But like I said, I don't want anything sticking in my card. Okay, now I think we're good to go. So now in this piece, I'm going to lay my apples so they're face down. This is the back. Oops. Face down. There we go. And then in your package, you have some of these little sequins. I think this is the fancy everyday sequins or everything sequins. You can go to my blog, becreativewithkathy.com, and find a full supply list there. Okay, we'll shake that out. Now we have all those little pieces in there. So now we're going to put that second sheet of window sheet on the back. So I'm going to go ahead and take off all these backings, making sure that my sequins don't pop up and land on my adhesive foam strips. Oh, just like that. Let me show you what not to do. Throw those back in there. This one back in there. Okay. Then carry on. I'm going to go ahead and take these two pieces off here too. This one here. And now that second sheet, remember this piece here is trash. That's just tissue to keep it, hopefully it doesn't get scratched. And then I'm going to lay this over that piece. This is the same size as the first one, so it's just a little bit smaller then that designer series paper. There we go. Now, if it sticks up too far on the front and the back or side to side, you can always just trim that off. But you got to make sure you press here good on those foam strips so that your little pieces don't come flying out. And now let's turn it over and see how we did. Yep, so see there's all our little apples and everything shakes like they should. Even here in Staticky, Colorado, it still looks pretty good. And now you have to get it in this way to get your little apples in the basket. They can't go through this way, it's blocked off. Fun, so it kind of makes it like a game. Okay, let's finish up here. We got some stamping to do. Now, if you watch my supply video, I said in my supply video that I was probably going to use the go-to greetings. And if you see my sample card here, that's what I used here. But then I looked through my stash of stamp sets and I found this stamp set Amazing Year. And now I think this one's going to be better. So I'm going to use this Amazing Year stamp set. So on our white, thick white card base here, I'm going to fold on that score line. Get a nice fold right here. There we go. And I'm going to set this here so I can see about where I want my birthday wishes. Okay, so I'm in some early espresso ink, which just coordinates with the buckets, nice and dark, so we'll be able to see it from or behind there. I'm going to ink up my birthday wishes, make sure it looks really good, because this time there's no room for error. If you you know, don't have good stamping, it's not like you can turn it over, you could see it there. So we're going to take it right here. I guess you could have cut another piece of white and covered up that way, but let's just see if we can get it right the first time. So I'm not squishing the stamp, I'm just holding it there to get a good image. Let's see how I did. Nice, I'll take that. And let's see what it looks like when I put my card on there. Yep, still looks pretty good. Little apple right in the way. So let's do the inside. Now on the inside, also in the stamp set, it says here, you are an entire year more amazing and as lovely as ever. So I'm going to stamp that here on the inside. There we go. And then I had one, the last of our little apples. Did I put all my apples on the inside? Maybe I did. Let's see how many apples I have in there. Yep, I put all my apples inside, because on this one here, I saved one little apple and put it there. So I put my apples on the inside. I guess I don't have an apple here. Now I could stamp something, but I'm going to just let it go. And I'm going to take now my liquid glue here, and I'm going to place liquid glue only where you can see the paper, not anywhere where you can't. Now we don't want to see it through the window sheets, or through the window, not the window sheets. So I'm going to take glue and just go about, well, like back here. They won't, my glue is not cooperating. That's embarrassing. What happened to my glue here? Do I have another glue? Let's see. Okay, that one is not gonna cooperate. He was just working. You just saw me use him, right? Whoop, now this one's happy, so we'll go here. And a little bit up here. A little bit up here. We just want to put enough adhesive on there so it won't come off our card as they're shaking it. We want it to stay on there. We don't want our card to go flinging across the room. So a little bit of glue like that. And then we're just going to center it here on the front. Looks like that. And I'm going to let it just sit there a minute, because on that window sheet it might take a second to dry. And boy, it did just take a second. We still have our little, you might have to shake it a little bit. Those little beads and stuff should break up those apples, so you can play the game, try to get the apples in and out of the basket. And there's a fun shaker card for a birthday. So that's card number 1. There we go. And then the inside looks like that with no apple. This one has a little apple right there. Alrighty, that's card number 1. Let's now make card number 2, which looks like this. It's the other side of our packet. So when you take this part, this thick white out, it's all of these pieces here. Let me clean up a little bit from the last card and get ready. Oh, and you know what? I want to wash the this one here. So let me get my Stampin' Scrub. I'm gonna stamp off a couple times on a scratch piece of paper. My Stampin' Mist. This is the wet side. There we go. Now we're all good, clean, and ready to go again with our next card. Okay, bring it back in where you can see it. There we go. Okay, so this piece we have a piece of thick basic white, which is our card base. Let's go ahead and fold that over. That bone folder. I'm going to keep this out because I'm going to go ahead and stamp this the same time as I stamp the items on the front of our card. We have this piece, which we're going to die cut from. We'll use that later. We're going to stamp on this little piece of smoky slate if you want kittens that all look like mine. If you want all white kittens, we're going to do something a little different. We have this piece of just basic white that layers on here. We're not going to stamp on there. We'll do something with that later. Set that aside. And then we have this piece, which is a 1/4 sheet of shimmery white. Now here's where we need to stamp and color our kittens. I made sure it was shimmery white in case you wanted to do watercoloring. I'm not going to. I'm going to use Memento black ink and Stampin' Up's Stampin' Blends. Okay, so I have a little cheat sheet here so you could see if you want to stamp all 4 kittens in white and color them. They'll certainly fit on this piece. I suggest you stamp them like that, along with the cute little butterfly. I couldn't think of what he was called there. So we're going to stamp on here. I only want 3 kittens. So I'm going to take, first of all, my bucket here. And I'm going to stamp him right there. I should be using my silicone mat, my Stampin' Pierce mat. Let's put that on there because it is a photopolymer stamp set. That still worked out pretty well. Really good, not even pretty well. Almost stamped on my card. Now I'm going to bring in some more of that Memento black. And we're going to stamp 1. And I'm kind of getting him toward the edge so I can fit my little butterfly right here. But there'll be room on this side too because like I said, I'm only going to stamp 3 white kittens. And then I'm going to stamp 1 gray kitten too. So 2, lots of extra room. Let's bring in that smoky slate. Stamp a little kitten on there. There we go. And then last and certainly not least, we'll bring in that little butterfly and stamp him for the card. And you know what the heck, we have room. I'm going to stamp him twice just in case. Well, I have already die cut him, so I'll show you what I'm talking about, but I would stamp a couple in case he's a little thing, trying to get the die perfect over him. Sometimes might be not perfect. Then on the inside of my card, I'm going to go ahead and stamp, almost forgot, another kitten down here. Excuse me, at the bottom here. Then I'm going to stamp my words, which is that, and I don't need the pad anymore for the words because it's a red rubber stamp, the birthday wishes. Right there. And this time, although I stamp them probably different every time, I'm going to put that little butterfly up here around the words. But like I said, I stamp them different every time, but I think he looks good there. Sorry, excuse me. Dry throat, dry Colorado. Now to color, we're going to color all of these. Let's put away this one. We don't need this one anymore. We're all stamped. I'm going to bring in the smoky slate. Here we go. Smoky slate. I have light and dark. The first thing I would do is color the handle of the bucket with the dark smoky slate. And then with all of the kittens, with that bullet end, I like to use the bullet end when I color, I'm going to just kind of highlight a little bit where Stampin' Up! Has already put the shadowing. I'm not a fan of coloring. Now you could take and have at it and color all these kittens, have them match your kittens, do whatever you want, but for quickness and for us that don't like to color, I'm going to just do a little bit of highlighting just like that on all of my kittens. And like I said, that's with the light and dark smoky slate. And then with some Flirty Flamingo, and I'm going to use the dark, that bullet tip again. I'm going to just color a little bit of his ear here. And I would do the same thing to all of those. This one, including the gray, I would do that to the gray. You might even like to color with the light smoky slate, just like we did on him, on the gray kitten too. There we go. And then with some Daffodil Delight, I'm going to use the dark again. I'm going to just take that bullet tip and color that little butterfly. And I would do the same thing to those. Then on the inside of the little kitty's eyes, some of them I would color, I think a couple of them I would color with the daffodil. And I love this Parakeet Party and the dark again. And I'm going to just color a little bit of his eyes and give him those really cute green little eyes. Now, last and not least, for the bucket, I used Crumb Cake, light and dark, to color the bucket. And then, by the miracle of TV, we have something that looks like this. So I've got my little kittens all colored like that. This little kitten, you can see I've just put a little bit of pink in his ears. Here's my butterfly. I've taken the little hearts die. Oh, now I've misplaced one of my little hearts. It's around here. Oh, it's on the ground. Hold on. There we go. I have my hearts cut out from the little die here in the stamp set that looks like this. I've got my little hearts cut from there. And then my bucket, of course, is that light and dark crumb cake. I took with my die cuts that match those outlines there and cut those out and have all the pieces like this. So now you can stop the video and go get all of those ready. Let's set those aside. Okay, then on this piece of basic white, that's the layering top of the Tahitian Tide. I've got just a scratch piece of paper here. I'm going to use a blender brush and Tahitian Tide ink. And because we're putting white kittens on white cardstock, I'm going to just add a little bit of color here to the center of my cardstock. Now it's not very dark. Like I said, it's just making it so those white kittens on that white paper show up. And this is probably the darkest one I've done, just a little bit in the center. It looks like that. Now you can see on this one how it has just a little bit of blue back there. Let's see if I can find my other one. This one's even lighter. And they look like that. Okay, so that's what I've done here. Now it's time to stamp on this piece here. So again, with that black memento, that same ink pad here, and I'm going to use this one here, To a Wonderful Friend, but I want to lay my basket and my tallest kitten, which in this case will be the gray, on my paper to try to figure out about where I want my sentiment here at the bottom. So I think that looks good. I'm going to take my greeting here. I'm going to practice on my paper one time, and then I'm going to stamp it, trying to get it straight down here at the bottom. Hold that in, let that sink in, and I'm not applying a lot of pressure because that's a fine line stamp, Ooh, and look how nice that turned out. I think I did pretty good. Okay, that's the end of our stamping. Let's go ahead and assemble our basket. I'm gonna bring in this card because I like the placement of these kittens here. So I'm gonna try to duplicate that one. Real quick though, while I have it here, I'm gonna go ahead and layer my white and blue here. Look at this. There we go. So the first kitten, if you notice, is way here at the side. Oops, I'm gonna put a little bit of adhesive right here at the top. The first kitten here at the side of the basket, making sure that none of him shows there. Looks pretty good. And then the little gray kitten. Now the gray kitten here, I'm gonna cut his tail off. Last time I made this card, his tail got in the way. I'm gonna just cut that off. Nope, I need to add some more adhesive here. There, now my little kitten is staying there. And then this kitten here, I'm gonna cut a little bit more than just his tail off, about there. Ouch. It has adhesive there, and I'm gonna set him over here. Now it looks like we have 3 kittens in the basket. I'm gonna turn that over, and with some dimensionals, put those down there, take those backs off. Oops, missed one here. And I'm gonna lay that right here toward the right of my card. And look how cute they are already. Now on this little kitten, I'm gonna put a dimensional over here by his bum. And then I'm gonna use a mini dimensional up here on his head on the same side. Because when you lay him here, that way he can be on dimensionals, but they're not in the way, so he can rest on the bucket. Okay, take those off, backs off. Set him right there. There we go. Now on this piece, I'm going to put dimensionals on the back here. And then lay this stuck down right here, centered on the front of our card. So it looks like that. And then I should have, there he is, our little ladybug. Nope, butterfly. I do that all the time. I'm gonna just put him on a glue dot. Place him right here, because I think that's what all the kittens are looking at, is that cute little ladybug. And then with just a little bit more liquid glue, I'm gonna just put a little blob here, a little blob here, and here. And then place those little hearts on my card. Like that. And then this third one, nope, this fourth one, do I want it on the inside? Yep, I'm gonna place it, I think, down here at the bottom by the kitten's feet. We don't want 4 on the front because you need to have an odd number on the front to make it look good. Our little heart here, down here, there. Look how cute that is. Nice. Now I copied this, or I cased this from a demonstrator. I can't remember her name right now off the top of my head. I'll be sure and put her name in the description to give her credit, because I'm so thankful that she shared her card so that I could case it so we could make it here at Club. there you go. The only announcement I have for club, and I'm really hoping you're sticking around, but I'll also send an email to let everybody know, is that next month, instead of meeting on Sunday, we're going to meet on the Friday before. I messed up and made plans on Sunday, so we've all decided that the Friday before would work just as well. Alrighty, there you go. Ooh, one last thing before I go. For the month of March and April, we're going to use the Songbird bundle. And I'll show you when I do a supply list so you can see what that looks like. Alrighty, thanks for watching. Hope you have fun making your packets. Hope it's all perfectly understandable. And I'm going to sit here and work on getting my shaker cards so that they loosened up again. There you go. Alrighty, have a good time. Thanks for being a part of club. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.